Morning everybody, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great because the new update for Helldivers and the new Warbond especially are absolutely insane. The new planets are crazy and the new weapons are just awesome. Like there's an incendiary AK with medium armor penetration and a mini missile that launches out of the ground. Like it's so cool. Helldivers is thriving and you absolutely love to see it. And a big reason for it thriving is of course the recent Xbox port. And news about the Xbox port and how well it's doing just keeps getting better, because in the last Helldivers video I made, we talked about how the game had already sold over 600,000 copies on Xbox in the first 3 days. And in case anybody had any doubts on the legitimacy of that information, now Helldivers is showing up as the #1 paid game on Xbox, and the Super Citizen Edition is #4. And it was actually even higher before. Take a look at this tweet. To absolutely no one's surprise, Helldivers 2 is the #1 best-selling game on the Xbox store, and Helldivers 2 Super Citizen Edition ranks at #3. Now, yes, I do know there have been reports going around recently that the game on Xbox might actually be outselling the PS5 version and might already almost have 1 million units sold. However, that is a very rough estimation based off of the amount of reviews for the game, and this is the same site that said that Final Fantasy 16 only sold 22,000 copies on Xbox. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going to go with that information until it's fully confirmed. But again, we do know about the at least 600,000 units sold. And obviously, like I said before, you cannot argue with the fact that it's literally at the top of the Xbox charts. Now, this is great, and most people are happy about it on PlayStation and on PC. However, it seems like there's always some people who have to rain on everybody else's parade when there's good news about Xbox coming out. Now, I feel like I shouldn't have to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway. The people I am referring to in the title and the thumbnail and right now are not the majority of PlayStation gamers. I know 99% of PlayStation guys are chill and don't have a problem with this, and in fact are probably excited that the game is doing so well on Xbox. When I talk about fanboys in any regard, I am talking about a very small subsection of the community that are unironically upset that the game is doing well on Xbox for some reason. If you are not one of these people, you are not a fanboy, you are just a fan. I am not talking about you. Is this clear? And guess what? If you don't like this kind of content, the don't recommend channel button is right there. Please click it. And don't call me a clickbaiter, for God's sakes. Like, everything that I say in the title and thumbnail actually happens in the video. Like, where's the clickbait? You know what? Whatever. I'm wasting my time arguing this. Without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at some angry responses to that tweet by Clute we just took a look at. Alrighty, first up, not worth it. Selling one of the biggest arguments for the console for a couple thousand players is not worth it. Sir, I believe by a couple you mean several, and by thousand you mean 100,000, because that is the actual amount of sales on Xbox. Several 100,000 already confirmed, and potentially even more. Besides, guess what? This game was day and date on PC. It was never exclusive to begin with. And on top of that, the game has been out for 1.5 years. Anybody who wanted to buy a PlayStation to play this game has more than likely already done it. And even if there were maybe a few people they still could have gotten to come over, that was probably not worth the trade-off of missing out on hundreds of thousands of additional sales and tens of millions of extra dollars from just putting the game on Xbox. Like, think about it. Would you rather, as a business, have a few more people buy your console and then buy that one game, and then maybe they buy a few more games on the system, but honestly, they might just stick with their preferred hardware, and miss out on the hundreds of thousands of people who are not going to buy your system, or spend very little money porting the game over, have access to millions of more people who hadn't bought your system at all, and sell way more copies and make way more money that way? I mean, if your made-up statistics in your comment were true, then sure, you would have a point, but that's exactly the issue. You just made up the numbers, saying a few thousand copies sold, because, haha, guys, if you sell #1 on the Xbox store, that's basically selling 5,000 units, even though that is proven to be objectively false. Plus, you say it's not worth it. Clearly, Sony thinks it's worth it. Alrighty, this next one is a 2-for-1 special, just like me and your mom. No, the real question is how many copies did it sell? And then Cucumber Water, that, man, Twitter has some fantastic usernames, says that many, it's not worth the effort for a company to port games to Xbox, and then shows the chart showing how many Xbox copies have been sold. Again, somebody just claiming out of the blue that it's not worth it for them to do it. But when you actually have the context behind the image he posted, it's a completely different story. That little green sliver represents 600,000 copies sold, and that was within the first 3 days. So even ignoring the report about it allegedly selling over 900,000 copies, so just doing simple math, on Xbox, this game is already on track to be on par with the PlayStation sales or even surpass it. 600,000 copies and $21 million in 3 days is no joke, especially for what was probably a very inexpensive port. Because, and I talked about this in my last video, but really think about it, porting is already not very expensive, even if you're outsourcing it, but Sony has their own in-house studio to port games, which probably makes it even less expensive. So yeah, keep coping, keep saying that it's not worth it to port the game to Xbox. I fully expect we're gonna see more games coming to Xbox soon. Sooner or later, you'll have to wake up and realize what's real and what isn't. And your whole Xbox gamers don't buy games thing is certainly not true. Alrighty, next up. And yet it won't make a dent on the overall sales charts. Now, in case you don't know what he's referring to right here, this is referring to the fact that, I believe, was it last month or 2 months ago, they revealed the top-selling games on Xbox and then the top-selling games just overall on all systems. And 2 of the top-selling games on Xbox didn't even make it into the top 10 overall games, which people then used to say, oh, well, look, games don't even sell that much on Xbox. Even the top sellers aren't making it into the overall sales charts, completely ignoring the fact that most of the other games that were top sellers on Xbox were also on the overall sales chart. It was just like 1 or 2 games on there that weren't on the overall sales chart. So that's what this guy's referring to. But unfortunately for you, this argument doesn't work here because we already have the hard numbers. We know the game is selling extremely well on Xbox. And it's not just, oh, well, it's a top seller on Xbox, but it's only selling 10,000 units. No. This game is selling hundreds of thousands, soon to be millions of units. And plus, even if the game does show up on the top 10 overall best-selling games, guess what? Guys like this are just gonna say that Steam carried it, because guess what? Helldivers is one of the top-selling games on Steam right now. So they'll just say Steam carried and that Xbox gamers still don't buy any games, which, funnily enough, would be admitting that PC gamers buy games, which these guys love to say that we just pirate everything. I'll have you know, the only games I pirate are Nintendo games, and I have no regrets about doing it. Mario 3D World is very fun on the Steam Deck. Anyway, let's continue on. 28 million Xbox gamers and only 5% of y'all buy games. Okay, I don't know where you're getting this 5% from. To be honest, you might be projecting here because Helldivers 2 sold about 5 million copies on PlayStation. We know this because of the chart, the one that the guy showed earlier to try and prove that Xbox gamers don't buy games. But anyway, it sold about 5 million on PlayStation and allegedly about 80 million PS5s have been sold. Now, doing some basic math, that means only 6.25% of PlayStation gamers bought Helldivers. So, what's the deal, man? 80 million PS5 gamers and only 6% of you buy games? What's up with that? And it's really funny because the whole Xbox gamers don't buy games argument mainly stems from the fact that Game Pass exists. So, oh, Xbox gamers are trained to not buy games. Meanwhile, I'd like to point out that the dude who made this comment has PS Plus as his profile picture. You really cannot make this up. All right, this next one's actually amazing. This is the biggest receipt pull of all time. So this guy says, PlayStation dominating the Xbox store. They are taking over Xbox, it looks like. Xbox first party might start struggling, lol. And then this dude just absolutely clowns this guy in the reply, showing the top 10 best-selling games on PlayStation of Q2 2025. And 6 of the 10 games are published by Microsoft. So yeah, it seems like it goes both ways. PlayStation is doing really well on Xbox, and Xbox is doing really well on PlayStation. And that's a good thing, because guess what? That means more games are gonna go over to those platforms. Games on more platforms means more people buy them, which gives the developers more money to make more games for more people. There's so much more, but one of the mores that isn't there is problems. It's a beautiful thing. Don't fight it, just embrace it. Alright, last one. I popped on for the express purpose of saying, so what? Newsflash, game #1 selling game when going up against literally nothing else. Astonishing. Yes, now the excuse is Helldivers isn't going up against anything else big, so of course it's the #1 selling game. You know what? Let's play into what this guy is saying. Let's ignore the 600,000 plus sales. Let's assume we have no idea what the actual numbers are, and let's go to the top sellers on Xbox and just take a look at what it is. Alright, Helldivers 2 is #1, and what's it going up against? NBA 2K, Minecraft, and Madden NFL 26. You know, Helldivers 2 is outselling NBA 2K, Minecraft, and Madden, 3 of the biggest games on console. Not to mention 2K and Madden just came out, so they're gonna be selling well. And Helldivers is beating all of them, but you know what? Yeah, guys, that's just absolutely nothing, right? This is so sad. Guys, if you're on Xbox right now and you bought Helldivers, no, you didn't. All that time you spent having fun in the game was actually a lie. It was a simulation fabricated by the automatons. This is exactly why we need more people fighting them. But yeah, anyway, guys, with all that being said, that is all I've got for this video. And remember, just be a fan. Don't be a fanboy. Don't get upset when people get to play games. It's a good thing, especially for the live service ones. Treat the Xbox recruits with respect, especially since they have decades of Halo backing them up, so they will probably kick your ass if you don't. But yeah, anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, subscribe if you want to see more. Join us every Friday night at 9 p.m. Eastern on the gaming channel for gaming streams, and become a member if you want Discord access and awesome emotes, and I will catch you all next time.